Good evening. Welcome in Delhi UPSC editorial audio program. Champs only at home. The Times of India. When farmers end up being anti-farmers. The Economic Times. Farming consensus. The Hindu. Now the full editorial. Champs only at home. The Times of India. Indian startups have transformed the domestic market, but the real test is doing it abroad. Mm, uh, Two of India's most popular online payment options, UPI and RuPay, spread it UPI and RuPay recently spread to three countries, Sri Lanka, Mauritius, and UAE, will allow these payments options in their domestic market. UPI and RuPay are both state-backed initiative. Their international acceptance is a result of good tech and India's diplomatic heft. But tech developed by private startup doesn't travel well abroad. For example, Zomato shut at least 10 of its foreign subsidiaries last year. Global presence matters. Startup Genome, a research outfit, studied the impact of expanding a firm's customer base cross markets. It found that when a startup target a customer base beyond the home market from an early stage, there are all round benefits. A bigger pool of customers to in tap into will also lead to faster growth. India and outliner, this general principle doesn't apply to India. India was identified as a market where startup that short retail customers could become unicorns, value at over over $1 billion by doing business only at home. The sheer size of Indian market provides an easier path to a unicorn status that it would for an Israeli startup. China treads a different path. The same logic should apply to China, the second most populous country. Chinese startup, however, have made a bigger splash overseas than their Indian counterparts. Startup Genome ranks Shanghai on par with Tel Aviv, Berlin, and Singapore as leading markets for innovation. Of course, Silicon Valley is right on top, along with with New York and London. Where flip side of size, Indian startups have been presented with a large and underserved domestic market to tap. The focus naturally have been the domestic consumer base, but there is a downside to it. An eager home market can be served without necessarily innovating much, but going abroad requires standing out with a novel offering. Innovation must be the vehicle for global expansion. There is being lacking so far. Exceptions to the rule. It is newer Indian tech companies catering to other businesses, not consumers, which have been built on an overseas client base. Firms in the market for software as a service are an example, but it remains to be seen if they can evolve into more sophisticated firms, something and earlier generations of software companies haven't quite managed. An economy set to be the world's third largest needs to see more innovation. We need global champions. When farmers end up being anti-farmer, the Economic Times. Uh, a legally guaranteed MSP as demanded by protesting farmers at Delhi's border is a bad idea, especially to farmers. Government of India's goal is to improve the farm sector, resulting in higher income for farmers. It is right in rolling out this particular demand, which will not benefit the bulk of farmers who have small holdings, often working as farm and non-farm labor. A valuable few holding of benefits for many makes neither good economics nor canny politics. Uh, a guaranteed MSP will undermine sustainability of agriculture, impacting small farmers disproportionately. It encourages cultivation of highest yield crops rather than those best suited a to a region. This has a ruinous impact on water levels and soil health, and adversely affect farmer incomes, public health, and food security. The environmental fallout of an MSP regime that continue to incentivize paddy cultivation in Punjab is an example of what not to do. Cross agri products. What is required is stepping up public investment in agri. Guaranteed MSP would make that impossible. It would have inflationary impact make out farm products globally uncompetitive and raise barriers for agri commodity exports. Farmers need remunerative prices, and letting the market determine prices makes ample sense. In this context, Government of India must direct resources on building mechanism to safeguard farmers against fluctuations. Intervening when required, it must also create conditions for efficient markets, facilitating market access, addressing challenges for natural resource management, and growing safe food for better incomes rather than guaranteed MSP for every crop. Government of India should offer support for efficient, sustainable, tech-driven production. The protesting farmers are rather ironically being anti-farmer. Farming consensus The Hindu. The center must address grievance for farmers through talk. Farmers from Punjab in their thousands have Farmers from Punjab in their thousands have assembled at 3 points along the border with Haryana, where they have been stopped from marching to Delhi. The protesters are demanding legally guaranteed MSP for crops, debt waiver, cancellation of international agreements impacting the agriculture sector, and a minimum pension of rupees 5,000 for farmers and agricultural labor. Some of these demands were raised during their earlier protests in 2021-22, which was called off after the BJP-led central government withdrew three controversial laws that has sought to reform the agriculture sector. The protest now is spearheaded by the SKM non-political a splinter group of body that had led the earlier protest. The split signifies figures in the interest groups across Haryana, Punjab, and Western UP and Rajasthan. There are at least three other strands for protest or stands of protest gathering strength. Farmers in western UP affected by the Jewar Airport project and Yamuna Expressway are up in arms. In Haryana, Sonipat, farmers are protesting land acquisition for power cable. The original SKM and several trade unions have called for a national rural and industrial strike on February 16, with overlapping with and additional demands that include the repeal of four labor codes. The government has opened talk with the Punjab farmers, but a legal guarantee of MSP appears unlikely. The police in Haryana and Delhi have stopped the farmers more than 200 kilometers away from Delhi, as they are resolute that the farmers will not be allowed near the border of the national capital, where they had laid siege in 2021-22. The MSP based procurement by the FCI has been the bedrock of food security, but the case for its reform is strong. Surplus producers of grain have benefited from the MSP scheme, but the scheme bypasses subsistence farmers in poorer regions. This uneven geographical spread of procurements has also led to sustainable from farm practices in some areas, while farmers in other regions of the country are always on the edge of penury. All this calls for a revamping of the public support for farming, which is essential for regions that include national food security. This can be achieved better through wide political consultation and by encouraging the beneficiaries of the current system to diversify production and increase productivity. The political undertones of the protest on the eve of the Lok Sabha elections also cannot be overlooked. The farm sector needs a new model of public support. It cannot be left to the mercy of the market. The government should lead the efforts to create a national consensus on this question. Thank you.